So far in this chapter, we've been doing a lot of selection with dotted lines. Lassos and marquees, things like that. And I use them every day, they're fine. But even the magic wand selects an area and it gives you that kind of dotted line thing based on a range of information that the tool will allow you to select with tolerance. Let's look at another way. We might make a specific selection using something called color range. Let's go ahead and open up Content Aware Move, this one right here. Now what I'm thinking of doing is I want to change the overall color of the sky, but since there is a reflection down here on the water, I want to select that area too. I'm going to go up to the word select and down to color range. Now what I usually try to impress on my students for color range is that do you want a color that exists throughout the image no matter where it is, because we're talking about a non-contiguous selection. Over here is our map of the image based on black and white. White areas are selected, black areas aren't. We can move fuzziness to make that more or less. But to actually begin the selection, and this is just basically a default, we can come up here and decide I want to select a particular color. And a new feature in color range is skin tones, which is pretty cool. Go back to sample colors and pick up this eyedropper right here and get up here and click one time. Now you'll notice it made a selection up there based on the fuzziness of where I clicked. If I continue to expand that, I am going to get more, but I am getting a whole lot more stuff that I don't want. So I'm going to take that back down a little bit. Let's be conservative here. And then pick up the plus eyedropper. In other words, add a range. And I'm going to do it right here. These areas need to be pure white. And as I click on them, it will add them to the range. And it looks like I pretty much got that. Now, there are areas I don't want. And again, something I try to impress upon students is there is no one perfect magic bullet to this thing. In many cases, you'll need to use more than one tool to make the selection work. Let's say we like what we have, and I think I can fix pretty quickly what we don't want. Click OK. Okay, we're back to dotted lines again. Pick up your lasso tool. Come over here and hold the Alt key down. Draw a big circle around everything that's sparkling that you don't want. That actually wasn't too hard. So we have the reflections in the water, and we have the sky. These are areas poking out of the tree, so they're fine. Let's go ahead and try something. Let's go into our half moon icon, and let's select something like, go hue and saturation. That's a pretty aggressive one. Now the mask is created here, so Alt-click on the mask. Let me move this out of the way for a second. You want to make sure that the only areas that are white are the areas you want to change. And sometimes you might pick up one or two in here. If you do, paint them out with a black paintbrush. But we've got a pretty good definition of those trees and the reflection in this pond down here. Alt-click again. Well, we're in control. Let's go ahead and double-click on the mask. Go into this button right here, which allows me control of the colors. And, well, just to show you, change the saturation. Notice how it's changing it in two places? It's changing it in the reflection, and it's changing it in the sky. Now that would be one way to use this tool when you need a range of color throughout the entire image. Let's do it again. Let's close this, and let's get out of here by deleting hue and saturation. I just want the sky up there. I don't want the reflection. Color range does allow you to make a selection before you use the option. So if we pick up our rectangle, and that's the marquee tool, of course, and we get into an area about like that, just right above that tree line. Now when we go to select and go down to color range, that's the only area we have. So if we can click here, let's use our plus to add some. Now the minus means take away if you get too much. And we can get right in here and we can add these areas. If we like that, we can work with it. If we don't, we can use fuzziness here to add or subtract more of the ranges we've had selected. But if we click OK, as you can see, the only areas selected are the ones within that selection based on color range. And we could go back and do somewhat the same thing, except this time, let's go to vibrance. Same idea. If we change in vibrance, we're impacting the sky. Just the sky. Why? Because that's the area that was selected. Some of these selections can get pretty natty on you. They really can. I would suggest, however, if your goal is to get the sky, you might have achieved that same thing using the magic wand tool, but it would have been difficult to get these little tiny areas over here because of the contiguous nature of that tool. And if you turn off contiguous on the magic wand tool, then you're going to start getting stuff down here too. So color range is pretty useful, but I think its most useful area is being able to select a single range of color throughout the entire image in a very quick way. On to the next.